Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and hi, I hope that you people are doing well. Today we are going to discuss our chapter number 15, a very interesting and important chapter. The chapter is related to one of the P's of marketing, and a very important P of marketing, and that P is called promotion. So our chapter is on promotion P of marketing, a very interesting chapter. It is called retail communication mix. Now if you remember that over a period of time in the marketing we have discussed many types of mixes. Remember that we discussed marketing mix, we discussed product mix, we have something which is called promotion mix as well, and that is what we are going to discuss in this chapter. It is called promotion mix or communication mix. Our focus should be more on the retailing, but I'll be explaining it from all the perspectives, from general to more specific perspective. um, some of the questions that you'll be able to answer after completing this chapter. You have to go through it and see if after completing the chapter you are able to answer these questions. We have very important things, so many important things in this chapter, and I want you to pay special attention. Let's first discuss what is communication. By the way, I just told you something about promotion mix, remember? Promotion mix is also commonly called IMC, Integrated Marketing Communication. Understand these three words separately. For us to understand it properly, it's better to separately understand these terms. Integrated, then we already know what marketing is, so I will skip this part and then we'll discuss what communication is. Integrated in simple words means this one. Integrated in simple words means cooperative, combined, mixed together. So I will write the word mix here. Marketing is the process of buying and selling, a simple definition, and communication is more important for you to understand. It is the flow of information from one person to another person, from one entity to another entity, and there are so many things that you have to understand, but we are not going in detail of the communication because that is not the scope of this course. We have to understand what do you mean by IMC, integrated marketing communication. It means that when you combine different methods of promotion or marketing available to the company, and those methods complement one another. But the question is, how many methods do we have? How many methods of IMC or promotion mix do we have? Any idea? How many? No idea? We'll discuss that. Let me go back to this page and I'm going to tell you at least 5 methods. How many? 5 methods of IMC or promotion mix or communication. When you use all these 5 methods in integration, we call it integrated marketing communication. The first one is called, we'll discuss that all of them one by one. The first one is called advertising. The second one is called sales promotion, in any order by the way. The third one is called public relations. The fourth one is called, I'm running out of space here. The fourth one is called direct and digital marketing. And the last one is called personal selling. The last one is called personal selling. So we have 5 methods: advertising, sales promotion, public relations is also commonly called publicity by the way. Publicity. Then we have personal selling and direct or digital marketing. Now some of the methods are also here, as you can see. Advertising is there, these are the traditional methods. Sales promotion is there, personal selling is there, public relations is there, and digital marketing is also there. Now, among these communication methods, some methods are interactive, which means that they are two-way communication. There are two-way communication. What is going on? Two-way communication. And some methods are one-way communication. Of course, the focus, the preference of all the companies are in two-way communication. You want to talk to the company, to communicate with the company being a customer, and the company wants to communicate with the customer. So these are different methods, either interactive or passive. We also call it two-way communication or one-way communication. We have a digital method, which is called online, and we have an offline method as well in the case of, say, newspapers. So all these are divided into different blocks. We have direct and digital part, which is interactive, which is online. We have less interactive one in the form of emails. We have interactive but not digital in the form of personal selling, in the form of sales promotion. And we have not interactive or non-interactive, one way, passive, and it is also not live. We call it advertising, sales promotion, and traditional methods of direct marketing. This is, by the way, the contemporary method of direct marketing. This is the traditional. We will discuss them all one by one. What is advertising? You have to understand some key things when you explain advertising. You can read that, but I'll tell you some of the key things that you have to understand in the advertising. The first thing, advertisement is a paid form of communication. It is by an identified sponsor. It is mass marketing technique. And it is non-personal. These are the things that you have to understand. Advertisement or advertising is a paid non-personal method of promotion from an identified sponsor using mass media, targeting masses or targeting large group of customers. This is the definition of advertising that you should not forget. It is non-personal, it is paid, it is from an identified sponsor, and it is mass method. Then in advertising, the common methods that we have been using for more than more than a century. The common one is newspaper. We have magazines, we have television, radio, and cooperative programs of the company are the methods of advertising. All these methods are paid, where the company pay a lot of money to the organizations to talk about them. Then we have sales promotion. The easy definition of sales promotion would be promoting your sales. What do you mean by that? Inducing sales. Inducing sales. What do you mean by inducing sales? Encouraging sales, improving sales, finding out methods through which people come and buy your product. For example, coupons, discounts, giving samples, arranging events, and so on and so forth. These are some of the methods through which you can encourage people to come and buy your products. And of course, it is also a method which is considered an expensive method. And one of the things that you have to keep in mind is it is a method which should be used infrequently. A method that should be used infrequently. So you should not use it very often. You should use it less frequently. Then we have trade promotion. So that was the sales promotion targeting the consumers, there are promotion. It originally started actually by the channel members. So the channel members wanted to induce the sales, and they started promoting their product stocked with them by the company, because when they sell more product, the company gives them more benefits. But how can they sell product apart from the company doing marketing? They on their own individual level also did marketing. So the channel members, like retailers, yeah, they started marketing the product using a technique which is called sales promotion. So the companies also found it very impressive, and the companies are using it now for the customers, and they're also mostly using it for the trade, or the companies are also using it mostly for the channel members. For example, what do you mean by channel members? You remember I told you that when you produce a product and the product moves from producer to consumer, there are people involved in the process of taking the product from producer to consumer. We call it, for instance, wholesalers and retailers. So when the producer give benefits to the wholesaler to sell or stock a number of quantity of product and sell it to the retailers, and the retailers are also given some benefit to sell the product to the consumers. When they sell a large number of products, producer give them a lot of benefits. The producer give these people a lot of benefits. So how would these people sell the product? They would try to do promotion. So when the producer promote it to them and they are given some benefits, we call it trade promotions, right? Personal selling. What do you mean by personal selling? A minute ago I told you that there are two methods of selling. We have personal and non-personal. You remember, advertising is a non-personal method of marketing, non-personal method of communication. What is personal method? Where a company's representative, also commonly called sales associate, directly face-to-face exchange information with the customers. A company's associate directly communicate and exchange information with the customers, market the product to them, and try to sell the product. A company's representative directly communicating with the customers in order to sell the product to them. That is called personal selling. Then we have PR, or public relation. In some books it is also called publicity. Publicity is just like advertisement, but it is a non-paid in most of the cases. Not always, but in most of the cases, non-paid method of promotion. So the method through which a company promote their product in the form of arranging media talks, in the form of arranging keynote speeches, in the form of inviting the newscasters or the news reporters or the media people so that they can talk about the company for free. When I say for free, I'm talking in context of comparing it with advertising. It would not be definitely absolutely for free, because you have to arrange an event for them and the media people come and it grab the attention. Take an example of the World Mobile Conference, or Apple or Samsung keynote speeches. Have you seen that? Samsung keynote speeches, keynote. Also commonly called product launching. Product launching. When they are launching a product, a large group of people come, particularly from media. They cover it and they inform the rest of the audience about the new product launching without the companies paying them to talk about them. That is called public relation. Publicity is often used in the negative sequence, in the negative sense. Publicity is when someone talk about you, use their word of mouth. A very good word come in my mind, that is called word of mouth. Yeah, it is not written like that. It is written like WOM. So word of mouth is when people talk about your company, your product, right? Most of the time, people will believe on word of mouth because it comes from the sources that they can relate to. That's why it plays a very important role in displaying a positive image, but it can also reduce the image, or it can also damage the image of the company if the news are not positive. Now, digital marketing, it is in your book it is called online marketing. In some books it is called digital marketing. When we talk about digital marketing, we are referring to everything electronic. So we have electronic marketing word as well, e-marketing, right? The common methods of communication using the electronic or the online methods are websites, blogs, and m-commerce, m-communication, or mobile communication. So when the company's website or the third-party websites talk about you, when the company's blog or the third party's blogs talk about you, and when the company's technological department is disseminating messages using mobile communication, it is called mobile communication. We'll discuss that in a while. Now, direct marketing is a method where the company directly marketing to the consumers, and this is divided into two types. Currently, we have the traditional methods, and we have the contemporary methods. Now, the traditional methods of direct marketing is, we'll see that in the coming slides as well. For example, postal mail or post mails. Or for example, we have something which is called catalogs. Yeah, the contemporary methods are more electronic based. For example, mobile commerce, it's the m-commerce word is used. It is originated from a term which is called e-commerce. Do you know the difference between e-commerce and mobile commerce? E-commerce is a broader term. E means electronic commerce, where the companies have electronic platform for trading. For example, you can buy their products using their website. But a smaller part of that is m-commerce, mobile commerce, which is also using the internet technology, but it is more on the mobile devices, not on the computer devices. So that is the only difference that you can find out. That it is normally the handheld devices or cellular phones. The trading is done normally using the handheld devices or the cellular phone, and in the e-commerce it is done normally using computers or desktops or other methods like kiosks. We have electronic kiosks as well. So we have e-commerce, we have m-commerce, we have digital kiosks, and so on, so forth. Now, the direct marketing, the old method of direct marketing started with the direct mail. We also call it postal mail if it is sent in the hard copy, or email when it is sent in the soft copy. We send the brochures, the catalogs, and the advertisements and the promotional material to the company using their postal addresses, or we can also do the same by sending it to their email addresses. So both of them are methods. Of course, this one is slow, old, and very expensive. This one is fast and less expensive. Then in the digital marketing, we have a very hot topic, and that topic is called social media, or in our marketing area we have social media marketing, where the companies use platforms like social media platforms to market them or their products. What do you mean by social media? It's an online platform where communities or people gather together virtually, exchange ideas, socialize, share photos, videos, and communicate. We have text messaging related social media platforms like Twitter. We have photo and video related platforms like Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. These are very important because digital media is something that the retailers and the companies are focusing on, are using more because of a reason, and the reason is that it is fast, it is reliable, it is accessible, it is a convenient and less expensive method compared to the other methods that we have in the integrated marketing communication or the promotion mix. Now let's move to a very interesting topic, and that topic is related to communication, because you have to communicate to the people about your company, your products. your product or your name is something in marketing, we call it brand. What is a brand? Brand is a name, sign, symbol, term, alphabets, logos, color, sounds, all these things that distinguish you from the rest of the competitors. I'm repeating. What is brand? Brand is a sign, is a name, sign, symbol, sound, color, or combination of all these which distinguish you from the rest of the competitors, which makes your product that you offer to the market distinguishable. It looks special. It looks different to the consumers compared to the people who are producing the same types of products. And brand itself is a very detailed topic, but you should pay special attention to it if you are interested in opening your retail outlet, if you're opening your business, because when we talk about brand, if you have a good brand and it becomes famous, the brand name or the brand logo or the brand in general can earn you a fortune. Take an example of Coke or McDonald's. Their brands names are so famous that these brands are multi-billion dollar brands. What do you mean by multi-billion dollar brands? It means that if you want to buy Coke name, if you want to buy McDonald's name, you have to pay multi-billion dollars. I think the brand worth or the brand equity of Coke is around 76 billion US dollars. Facebook is around 100 plus billion US dollars. So you're buying these companies, you pay a lot of money. McDonald's in the same range, and there are all these companies which are in this almost multi-billion US dollar companies. You're not buying the company, you're buying their name only. And how did they make it that that famous or that amazing? Just because of selecting a good brand name and marketing it using the communication tools. So we call it the value of a brand or the brand equity. It is here as well. It is the worth of a brand. Worth. Especially the monetary worth related to money. Yeah, how much money your brand name can get you apart from the money, but how would you find out? We'll discuss that in a while, but the interesting part is that if you have a good brand name, it has benefit for the retailers and it has benefit for the customers. For the retailers, of course, it can attract the consumers, the customers. It improves and enhances the brand loyalty. You can ask for higher prices. Take an example of Apple or Samsung or now Huawei. It started with less than 1,000 ringgits and now the prices have jumped to 3,000 ringgits and above. Look at Apple. The prices were 2,000 ringgits and now it is 10,000 ringgits. So you can ask, you don't need to spend a lot on the promotion since people already know you. Then we have something which is called it is easy to penetrate in the market. We call it market penetration. So a good brand name can help you easily penetrate in the market. For the customers, of course, customers believe on those brands with good name. Why do people blindly go and buy Apple or Apple products, even though every now and then Apple products have reported problems, but still people go and buy it, and every year their sales skyrocket just because of their brand value or their brand image or the worth of their brand. So the overall image of the brand in the minds of the customers. How can we build brand equity? Some of the tips are there. These are not exhaustive. We have a lot of methods through which we can improve the equity of a brand or the brand equity or the worth of a brand. First thing is try to create brand awareness. People should know you. Try to create favorable association. When people hear your name, they know you. What is McDonald's? And when they hear your name, something comes in their mind. When you say Starbucks, coffee comes in your mind. When you say Mercedes, a car comes in your mind. When you say McDonald's, hamburger comes in your mind. So these are the things that is called brand association, and people get emotionally attached with your brand. When people use your brand, they fall in love with your brand, and that is called emotional attachment. And that is what is famous about the Apple products as well, that they have this aesthetics that they include in their brand, that when people use their products, when people buy their products, they somehow like it and they are emotionally attached with it, right? And consistent reinforcement, make sure that you reinforce it, you talk about it, you communicate with the customers continuously. Take an example of Coca-Cola. It is more than 100 years old company, but still we see the ads of Coke on the TV, on the radio, on the newspaper, on the social media. Why? Because of continuous and consistent reinforcement. Now, the benefits of high brand awareness, what could be the benefits? People could recall you easily, people would remember you, and the moment others take your name, they are aware of your name. And because of this, it stimulates visit to the retailer. Top of mind brand awareness, how can we do that? Make sure that you have something which is called repeated exposure. Don't stop informing people about your brand. Don't stop. You have to continuously, consistently do that. Sponsor the events, big events. Sponsorship plays a very important role. Your symbol should be recognizable and memorable. For example, a tick. For example, an M. People look at them and people love these signs and they remember them all the time. And your name should be memorable. Google. How beautiful this name is. Yahoo. How good this name is. You understand? IIUM. How beautiful this name is. Memorable names. Now, this is a very important topic, but somehow in your book it is not explained that good. I would like to explain it from different sources, so I'm going to write about it. This is the model or the steps included in developing a retail communication program. When you plan to develop a retail communication program, it have to go through certain process. The first one is you need to identify and find out your objectives. Then how much money is required, the budget, how would you allocate that budget, and then implementing an evaluation of program. So these are the four important stages that you should not forget. Let's discuss about the objectives. Now in your books you have an empty slide because I'm going to write on it, but if you see they have only the objective is that the objective of the retail is only communication, but I'm going to tell you something more than that. There are at least three objectives of communication or communication program or IMC or promotion mix. What are they? The first one is called information. The second one is called persuasion, and the third one is called reminder. So there are commonly, broadly speaking, three objectives of communication mix. Information, you inform people, you persuade people, or you remind them about your company. Okay, now let's talk about the budgeting part, that how can we decide on the allocation part. If you go to your slide, it is there as well, but a little differently explained, right? If I go to your slide, you will see that they explained it like margin analysis method and so on and so forth. I'm going to skip through these slides, by the way. So I'm going to tell you the common methods, amazing methods, and inshallah you will remember them in any order, by the way. What are the common methods of establishing or deciding or allocating the budget? The first one in any order is called percentage of sales. Percentage of sales method. Percentage of sales method, we'll discuss that in a while. The second one is called per unit cost. Ignore that line. Per unit cost. The third one is called, I love this method, all you can afford. All you can afford method. The fourth one is called research method, and the last one is called objective method. Now the first one, the percentage of sales method. The percentage of sales method. What is the percentage of sales method? The percentage of sales method is a method where you decide on a agreed upon percentage that you will allocate for the promotion mix. Suppose you say that the 10% of all the sales would be dedicated to IMC. Simple, right? So you agree upon, you find out a certain point. There are of course methods to do that, but we are not going in detail of that. You find out the methods where you can agree upon a percentage that you decide to use for the purpose of communication. That is the one. The second one is similar to that, but this is related to per unit cost or per unit sales method. What do you do that? That you decide that every item that you sell, pay attention, every item you sell, you will spend 20, you will spend $20 on IMC. You see the difference? This was the percentage and this is the amount. So every item that you sell, you will spend $20 of that amount on the communication mix. All you can afford, as you can see, all you can afford. Depending on how much money you have reserved, you spend all of them or you put all of them on the table for the purpose of communication. Research method is a method where you first go to the market, do a research and find out why do you need to do the communication for, what type of communication you want to do. You want to first create awareness, information, you want to attract people to buy the product, persuasion, or you want to just keep the people informed about the product, remind them again and again, the reminder method. So you find out based on the research why you want to do communication, and then you decide on the amount required. Objective, we discussed a while ago that there are three objectives. You have information, persuasion and reminder. You choose the method and then decide on the budget. So these are the three methods. Let's quickly go to the book and see what the book has to tell us, right? Okay, based on the economic principle that firms should increase communication expenditure as long as each additional dollar spent generate more additional contribution. That is margin analysis method. That's another method, right? And this is how you do that, the margin analysis setting of one of the companies. Then remember task and objective method, or objective or task method. I just told you that determine the budget of the advertisement based on the objective that you want to accomplish from the objective that you want to accomplish from your advertisement. Affordable method, we discussed that, all you can afford. Set the communication budget by determining what money is available after operating costs and profits are budgeted. So all you can afford. Then you have percentage of sales. We already discussed a certain amount of fixed percentage. Oh, there is another one, competitive parity. I love this one as well. Competitive parity. Let me go back and write that. I love this method. Competitive parity, right? The sixth one is competitive parity. It's a method where you compare yourself with the competitors and see how much your competitors are spending. If your competitors are spending $100 million, you also spend $100 million. If your competitors are spending less, you spend less. If they're spending more, you spend more. The problem with this, all these methods have some problems and positive and negatives. The problem is that what if your competitor has a different brand image, different brand awareness and so on, it will create a problem for you to do the same thing. Okay, now allocation of the promotional budget. How much should you allocate? I love this formula that is called high assay principle. The high assay principle says that the areas in the retail, the areas in the part of the outlet which generates more income allocate more budget to that area. It is very much related to something which is called the concentration principle, or we also call it what? We also call it the concentration principle, or we also call it the 80/20 rule. You remember the 80/20 rule? 80/20 rule says that 80% of the profit comes from 20% of the customers. You remember that, right? 80% of the profit comes from 20% of the customers. So spend more on the 20% of the customers, communicate more with these 20% of the customers, because they are paying you 80% of the profit. The good news is that we have, alhamdulillah, covered up our chapter. With that, thank you so much for listening to the chapter. Don't forget to watch it, because we'll have a live session discussion on it. And if there is anything that you want to ask, feel free to ask. See you. Bye.